Despite the fact that I have slept alone for longer than I've had this house, I still sleep on the left side of the bed, leaving their side empty. Every day was as monotonous as the last since they left me. I eat the same things, watch the same shows, and do the same job, day in and day out. The day after they left me, they vanished. Almost like they never existed. But I still remember. I'll always remember them, even if I don't want to. Over the past month, the hanging dread seemed to be increasingly lighter, but today that was not the case. It was a struggle for me to just get out of bed today. The blanket seemed to weigh me down, keeping me trapped. Even after getting up from bed, its dental prison beckoned me to return. But I have work in an hour, and I need to ignore its call. Looking out the window, I see the looming darkness in the sky. Winter was their favorite season. The dark mornings and the cold air reminded me of them. I turn on a dim light to avoid the burn of the sudden light change. It's just bright enough for me to get my clothes and get to the shower. I turn on the water and step into the shower. The water hits my head and runs down the length of my body. The water is almost as cold as the winter's air. The warm water of a shower always comforted and soothed me. But I didn't want either of those things. I also needed to wake up, and coffee stopped working on me after I began to rely on it too much. So a cold shower has been the only thing in recent times to get me to stay awake, at least long enough to get to work. I stepped out of the shower after what felt like an eternity of standing, and I dried myself off with a towel hanging on the left. Even though they never lived here, I still have their towel. They forgot to take it before they left me forever. There's no reason to have it up. I have only touched it to wash it, not that it ever needed to be. I hang my towel back up where it belongs and get dressed. The new warmth the clothing provides makes me feel a little better, but the sensation of the clothes sticking to the damp parts of my body is nearly unbearable. I tug at them to pry them off my skin, so they just hang loosely on my figure. I step out of the bathroom. I throw my pajamas on the clothes chair, which has also become the clothes floor at this point, and put my dirty clothes into the hamper. I get my watch off the nightstand and strap it onto my wrist. While checking the time, I heard a thump outside of my bedroom and the rest of my house. What was that? I whispered to myself. I walked to my door and quietly opened it. I looked down the hall. There was no one there. So there are two things possible. 1, something fell and it made a noise. Or 2, someone is in my house. I grabbed the umbrella by my bedroom door and walked to the living room slowly. The carpet pads my steps, so whoever could be in my house can't hear my footsteps. The only problem with that is I couldn't hear their footsteps either. I turned the corner and it turns out it is the second possible thing. A person is in my house, and this person is looking at the engagement ring I left in the drawer of the inn table. They had taken it out of the box and held it delicately, looking over it, pondering its worth, I'm sure. Just because I was never able to give it to my partner does not mean it's up for grabs. Out of anything in this house, they are not taking that ring. In one adrenaline-fueled moment, I jump from around the corner and yell at the thief, "You drop that ring now!" I hold my umbrella over their head, ready to strike if they don't listen. The thief turned to me. "Arrow?" they asked, voice breaking. Even though their face is masked, I know exactly who they are.